Internets! Hello, you absolute lovelies! I am here at CinemaCon 2025, and I just got out of my most anticipated panel of the entire con, and that is Warner Brothers, and I'm happy to say that I left oh so very happy, and I cannot wait to dive into all I saw with you. I'm going to break down all the footage we got. I'm going to break down all the conversations. I'm going to start with Superman because I'm a comic book guy, and I want to dive right into that. I'm also going to talk about the few brief moments we got of Dynamic Duo. Going to dive into Final Destination Bloodlines because I am super excited for that franchise to come back. Going to be diving into F1. Going to be diving into The Bride, which is something that I think a lot of people are going to be talking about very, very soon. Also going to briefly talk about the Warner Brothers animation stuff we got. It was a stacked panel, and I cannot wait to dive in. But before we do, please hit that subscription bell if you haven't already. I read 50 to 70 comics a week, and I bring my movie and TV reviews from the lens and perspective of a diehard comic fan. So if you're into comics, movies, or TV, this page might be for you. Hit that subscription bell. Also, covering all of CinemaCon. Covered the panels yesterday right here on this page. Going to be covering more tomorrow, etc. So please keep your eyes peeled there. And also covering Daredevil and lots of other stuff every single week. So subscribe, comment, because I want to have conversations about this stuff. It's boring if it's one-sided. Let's talk like in the back of a comic book store. Let's talk about these movies, talk about these announcements, talk about these comics down below. Also hit a like while you're pressing buttons. All right, so Superman, we got new footage. We got a behind-the-scenes montage. We got beautiful moments of pure hope. And we also got an incredible cast who are exactly their characters. Now, full disclosure, I have a show called DC Studios Showcase. I literally work with DC Studios promoting comic books. I am their comic book correspondent. I love comic books so loudly. But a lot of people are like, well, of course he's excited. It's kind of the other way around. I got the job because I'm excited, and now I get to tell you guys how excited I am. They are not controlling this video. This video is on my page, and I'm on CinemaCon of my own. Like, I'm here as me, not here as DC. So this video has literally no ties to them directly, except for that my excitement on that show is going to translate through this video and then back to that show. Superman is a character that I adore. Superman is a character that the older I get, the more I like him, because I feel like the better I work on myself, the more I understand humanity, and the better I try to be as a person, the more I'm like, man, Superman always got it. When I was growing up, I thought, man, this guy's got so many powers. This guy is hard to write in a way that I'm connecting to, and it really put a barrier between me and Superman for my teens and earlier. As I was getting in my 20s, I was starting to get them. Grant Morrison really helped. All-Star Superman really helped. Certain runs that had an art style that felt Rockwellian really helped, like Superman for All Seasons. Some John Byrne stuff really helped. And then especially Superboy, Con-El really helped. I think everyone has an interesting way into the character, but I think as people mature, the character either really works for you or really doesn't. The character really works for me as I get older. And what I'm really loving is that a lot of the comics that I connect to the most, Superman for All Seasons, like I said, All-Star Superman, the Alan Moore take on Superman, that's what I'm seeing on this screen in this footage. I'm seeing Ed McGuinness art. I'm seeing John Byrne art. I'm seeing Tim Sale art. And the hope and the power and the belief in good is radiating in every frame. And what I'm loving is that every time I see something, then the filmmakers or the actors will come out and give me even more. I personally have an incredible connection with everything David Cornsweet has said about Superman. The way he describes the costume, unlocked pieces of how I connect the costume to the character in much more succinct language than I have put together myself. The way Rachel Brosnahan describes learning journalism to learn Lois, and then that perspective as an actress is exactly how I've always seen the character, and I haven't always connected to in other adaptations. The way Nicholas Hoult describes being right, and the way he is so sure that this is a problem feels like Lex Luthor in a way that I haven't seen since Michael Rosenbaum in Smallville. This, to me, is an incredible opportunity to have the character when we need him most. And I love how James Gunn sees him. I love how Peter Safran is working with James to build this whole universe. And I especially love how this cast is the characters to me. And that's this panel. This panel was the three of them talking about their characters. James Gunn talking about his way into the character, talking about this dog and crypto. Also giving anecdotes. That was all exactly Superman to me. Then we also got tons of footage. We got a behind-the-scenes montage that gave us more clips of Eddie Gathegi that I'm so happy to say is exactly Mr. Terrific. Few more frames of Jimmy Olsen sprinkled throughout the Daily Planet. I'm especially excited for Skylar Gisondo to be Jimmy Olsen. I think he's born to play the role. We also got an extended bit of footage at the end I'm going to get to in just a second, but the actual behind the scenes felt more like hope than a lot of superhero movies ever do. Like just hearing David, Rachel, and Nicholas in character, well, dressed in character, walking through set, talking, was such an impactful visual. Just seeing frames of the cape just billowing in natural life, and then the frames and how much practical it looks like this film has gives me so much joy. So that's all the behind the scenes stuff we got, and I'm sure that'll be something that will be discussed further, and you guys can get more details. But the footage was really cool because it was the trailer we got, but extended. And I really personally don't want to see too much of this movie for July. I'm afraid, like any campaign, June's gonna hit and it's gonna be like TV spots and I'll be like la la la. But for now, I'm really enjoying the fact that the trailer we got was just extended. So we see Crypto, but we get more Crypto, and the way Crypto interacts with Clark is delightful. The way we get introduced to the Fortress of Solitude is incredible. The way we meet some characters in the fortress that build the mythology in a very comic accurate way is wonderful. The way that then transitions into scenes we've seen, but those get extended a little bit. A little dash more kaiju, a little dash more Lois and Clark in the apartment, a little sprinkle more of this action scene, all gives us maybe 40 seconds new, but it colors in the experience more. It builds the world more without giving us too much story. I personally dig that. I want more companies and more marketing to do this, where it's just elongating a bit. We got a little tiny bit more Nicholas Hoult as Lex, a little more dialogue. We got just dashes, and I really personally enjoyed it quite a bit. So we are now in the summer of Superman. This was just the beginning. It is April 1 as of filming this, April 2 as of you watching this. The summer is coming, and the summer of Superman has begun, so there's going to be lots more to come. Very excited to report on all of it for you. Again, subscribe. Now let's talk about the surprising moment. The thing for me that popped the biggest of all, I think at CinemaCon so far, is maybe 3 seconds, and it's dynamic duo footage it's an animated film, and it is from a company called, I think, like Swiftbox. I forget the name off the top of my head, I apologize. Swaybox something, and it is unprecedentedly beautiful animation. Now, dynamic duo, for those that don't know, is going to be our original two Robins. Our original Robin and our no, I'm saying it wrong all over. It's not Dick Grayson. It's our Robin that becomes the Red Hood. It is the Robin that has killed Jason Todd, and our most recent Robin, Damian Wayne. I was struggling to exclude Dick Grayson there because I'm excited for him to eventually get live action treatment in a movie, but that is not yet this. This is going to be Jason Todd, Red Hood, and Damian Wayne, Robin, and it's that dynamic duo, which is fun because that's playing with, the comic concept of dynamic duo, which is usually two different people. But what's so cool about this is, not since SpiderVerse have I seen animation that struck me, that left me shook, that stopped me in my tracks, and we got maybe 7 seconds. And it's this blend of puppetry, CGI, and I think actual live action. But the animation was so good, I couldn't tell if it was live action or if it was just great animation. I couldn't see where the seams ended. Just the facial movements, the expressions, the acting, the voice acting, it was frames, and I was shook. So a few seconds of dynamic duo already has me incredibly excited for what's to come. Just wanted to give it some love. I can't speak on it much more because I only got a couple seconds. Let's talk about a few more things that were in the Warner Brothers panel with some quickness, because I lived at Superman for a long time, because I know my comic book centric audience, but I also do want to talk about Final Destination Bloodlines. I'm not going to give anything away because I want you guys to have the experience yourself, but I will say they showed us an entire scene, a full sequence. I think it was like 8 minutes, and it was a brutal death that felt so classic Final Destination. The setup, the tension building, the surprises, and then the moments of like, oh, of course that's the way it landed. The characters that you immediately endeared to, the many different options you could see Death having, the playfulness, the dark humor. There's a joke in the opening minute of this 8-minute section that is one of the darkest jokes I've ever seen put to screen, and I stood up and laughed to the point where my entire row next to me audibly went coy, because I could not contain the darkness of the humor, and it was such dark joy. And when the world sees it, I will tell you in a few months what that joke was here on this page, because it broke me and it was hilarious. But then the Final Destination of it all accelerated from there. The deaths were inventive and the violence was insane, and it was oh so very darkly funny in its violent murder. And Death has just as many incredible options as Death ever has. Next up, I do want to talk about F1. We got 10 minutes of F1. The opening 10 minutes of the film, we got a great needle drop. We got Brad Pitt being awesome and Brad Pitt. We got some clear love of the actual sport of F1, like the intensity, the maneuvering, the actual athleticism of this sport is on display, all with the director of Top Gun Maverick coming in to do what he did with Maverick, but instead of Tom Cruise, we got Brad Pitt. Instead of jet fighters, we got F1 racers. That speed, that agility, that insanity. We didn't get to see a lot beyond Brad Pitt. Little Javier Bardem, great world building, great action, really fun dad vibes, very dad movie. Very much like, this is the story, these are the cliches, and it's gonna endear you, and we're gonna keep going, and I loved it. It's everything I wanted from like that kind of 4th of July movie. I think it's gonna do great. Really enjoyed the footage I saw. Really excited for more of F1. First 10 minutes have me hooked. Now I want to talk about the thing that surprised me the most long form. Dynamic Duo is gonna be the thing I'm talking about the most after the con, but the thing that I was already excited for, I didn't think we'd get, and I'm so glad we got some of, is The Bride. Maggie Gyllenhaal wrote and directed this insane take on Frankenstein's Bride. It is so punk rock, and it is so goth, and it is full of so much love that this, I think, is the first time that I'm going to get something that feels like The Crow. I love The Crow. I've been watching The Crow since I was like 10 years old. I watch The Crow every Devil's Night on October 30th, and I watch it other times throughout the year, but it's one of those movies I've seen more than most. It's a movie I love showing people. I'm in love with the dark gothic poetry of the Crow. I love the ink of The Crow. I love the oil painting that is The Crow. It means so much to me. This feels not like The Crow, but it feels like the same level of love for a genre. It feels like the same level of love for love. It feels like a goth love story in so many ways, but punk. And it feels like this incredible, irrepressible energy. Christian Bale looks so cool as Frankenstein. I am so excited to see what we get from Maggie Gyllenhaal as a director. I've seen a few of the things she's done, but nothing to scale like this. And I do not know the actress who plays the bride. I recognize her from trailers. I'm sure I've seen her in things. But what I loved was she was on stage very pregnant. And it was a really beautiful moment of her with sunglasses, laughing, very like 7-8 months pregnant belly, vibing and being like the coolest woman on that stage and embodying like a different bride, and then seeing the footage right after, and she's just so punk and so awesome and so cool, and I'm so excited to see that character. Instantly iconic, instantly gonna be so many people's cosplay and Halloween outfits, and immediately like, I need to live this movie. And they also, one of the things I loved the most was her geeking out about aspect ratios. Maggie Gyllenhaal has discovered the glory of IMAX filming, and she was talking about changing frames and changing proportions and changing sizes, and her just whipping out different aspect ratios and describing how she was using it for different characters' worldviews and going into the mind of. This thing feels like poetry. This thing feels like an artist getting to play. This thing looks metal and punk as hell simultaneously while being a love letter to love. I am all about The Bride. Immediately one of my most anticipated 2026 because it drops in the spring now. Very excited for it. Briefly want to just wrap up by saying the animation department, WB Animation, also gave us a cool little montage as well as some Cat in the Hat. Bill Hader came out. I'm a huge Theodore Geisel fan, Mr. Dr. Seuss himself, and I think that this looks like a way to bring a new generation. My generation had Jim Carrey's The Grinch. This looks like a really beautiful way for new people to discover Mr. Geisel, to discover the Dr. Seuss. It looks like a lot of fun, and weapons look so messed up I might not even see it. Big fan of Zach Creggers' Barbarian, but this one, I love Josh Brolin, and I loved Barbarian. I don't know if I can handle the darkness that Weapons looks like it's going to be. So as much as I love the dark humor of Final Destination and can handle the gore because it's with snark, Weapons looks like it's just going to mess me up. But I love Brolin, so we'll see. So those were the things we got to see in the panel that really stood out to me. I think that's damn near everything. Really big fan of what DC Studios is cooking up with Dynamic Duo and Superman. Really excited for Final Destination, Bloodlines, and The Bride. Very stoked for the daddest of times with F1. Curious about the Cat in the Hat as a Dr. Seuss fan. And I'm really stoked for WB. Keep killing it, guys. That was a really cool presentation. Really excited for more. Let me know in the comments below what of these, I tried to describe the trailers without giving them too much away because I want you to enjoy yourself, but what of these experiences sounds most intriguing to you? What of these movies have you heard of? What am I just telling you for the first time? I'd love to know like what the pulse is outside of the CinemaCon walls. Let me know in the comments below. Please leave a like so the algorithm likes this video, and please, if you're not already subscribed, I'd appreciate it. This was a 14-minute off the dome memory of a con experience. I bring you guys everything I can. I just want subscribers so I can keep growing this page and do it more. So subscribe, comment, like, press buttons. I appreciate you very much. I'll see you for Universal